Today was an interesting day when you look at the 49ers press conference with John Lynch, Kyle Shanahan, and specifically the topic about Jauan Jennings. When you listen to the words that are said or lack thereof, it definitely paints a picture. But with the words that were said, John Lynch confirmed that the 49ers did actually receive a trade request from Jauan Jennings, but flat out, John Lynch said, we're not doing that. We're not trading Jauan. That's not happening. Interesting situation from my perspective. I think there's a lot of layers to this Jauan Jennings situation. I think if you've been paying attention to the 49ers, you already knew that. But I think now, legitimately, it's kind of out in the open because we do know week 1 is approaching. The 49ers have a wide receiver availability issue. Maybe there are some things brewing that maybe we're trying to just hope and pray it's just an injury. I don't know. Take a listen to this little snippet of John Lynch talking about the Jauan Jennings situation, and I'm going to give you my take on the other side.
Bring us up to date on Jauan Jennings and just how that fits into the overall picture of the 53.
Yeah, so Jauan's still working through his calf issue, making progress. We're kind of like everyone else, hopeful but not sure, on week 1, and we'll proceed as such. And so we're working to get the best mix out there. We added a piece today, and in MVS, Marquez Valdez-Scantling, and thrilled to have him part of it. And we move forward.
Are you involved in any other wide receivers?
We're always trying to improve our roster.
You guys have mentioned his MRI in the past. Do you guys see progress with that, with the imaging that's been taken on the calf?
Yeah, you don't image a guy like daily, so that's something that happened a little bit ago, and if it doesn't get better soon, I'm sure we'll be doing more of that.
Is it worse than you originally had thought it was going to be?
Yeah, but I also, calves can take a long time. That's one thing with that injury. Played with guys who they can take a while. So.
I'm sure you may be aware that there's been some conjecture that there's more than just a calf going on, given his desire for a new contract and everything. Are you convinced when he is healthy that he'll be ready to play?
Well, there's a lot that goes into that, Eric. Ideally, everybody has a training camp. Everyone's out there. That's a perfect world. But, he's been putting in work to the side, and we'll have to make that judgment when the time comes. The other thing is both things can be true. He wants a new contract and he's got a hurt calf. So I think people want to assume one or the other. Both things can be true.
When you make your decisions on the wide receiver position specifically, do you have to do it assuming you might not have Jauan for the first few weeks?
I think we make every decision on this roster with so many things in consideration. So, yes, of course.
Has he asked to be traded?
A while ago he did, but that was a long time ago, and we've moved on from that.
That was during camp, or was it before?
I'm not getting into when it was, but it was a while ago.
What about Russell Gage? Is he any plans to bring him back?
Yeah. Gage will be out there today.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he's on the practice squad?
No, he'll be on the 53.
You mentioned a couple weeks ago that there would be definitely movement. It's fluid, given the number of injuries and the positions. How hard is it to start looking at week 1, knowing that there's still moves to be made, there's some positions that look pretty short right now. As a coach plotting for that, how difficult has that been?
It's always difficult. It's difficult in week 8 when you have a bunch of guys go down the week before too, and you're sitting there and you don't have those guys on practice squad, and you're not sure how you're going to put it together, but you find a way to figure it out and you show up the next Sunday. At week 1, it can be a little bit different, but these are times that you go through always as a coach at some time in the year. I'm glad that we have gotten a lot of our injured guys back. Some joining in on practice on Monday. We'll have more out there today. So hopefully we'll keep having better luck with that.
and this is a team that's had great chemistry, obviously, but it's also had some contractual issues in the past. What does it tell you that Jauan did ask to be traded, and how does that change the way you think about him or way he exists on this organization?
No, that doesn't faze me at all. I don't think it has anything to do with team chemistry. I don't think it has anything to do with how we approach each other, how we spend our time with each other. That has to do with business decisions, and those are the business decisions people make. But I don't look at any of that stuff. I mean, you get a tweet of that while you're on a vacation, and I don't get the tweets, but when people copy a tweet and send it to me, that's about all I get, and I usually move on with my life.
John, when you said he did ask for a trade a while back, has that trade request been rescinded?
No, he asked for it, and we've moved on. And we're not doing that, so we're moving forward.
What is his contract? One of the contract sites says that he has incentives baked into that contract that he signed. Does he have performance-based incentives?
I think that report, somebody put that in front, that was from last year. So those are things that he's already earned from last year.
So again, the thing that stands out to me is the non-committal situation, not divulging any information, because to me the way, and credit to the 49ers press corps for asking questions and continuing to ask questions and asking more challenging questions, and really kind of, again, I'm not saying that because there needs to be a situation where it needs to be contentious, but again, when Adam Schefter tweets out the 49 that Jauan Jennings has requested a trade, then you hear from Kyle Shanahan, oh no, Jauan never requested a trade. And then today, John Lynch says, yeah, he requested a trade. That was a while ago. And then wouldn't divulge that information. It again reiterates why we don't take everything that a general manager or head coach says at face value. And that's not even Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch. Every general manager, every head coach, they're going to keep things as close to the vest as possible, and that gives them the best competitive advantage. Whether it's a negotiation advantage, whether it's a competitive advantage, it doesn't matter. The head coach and the general manager have to give as much minimal information to you and the public as possible, and that's their job, and I don't fault them for it. That's exactly how I would operate, and I say that all the time. I would play mind games if I could. I would zig, and when I'm really zagging, when it comes to speaking to the media. So I want to make that abundantly clear. I have zero problems with 49ers Kyle Shanahan, John Lynch not being transparent. I get it. I really do. But again, that gives the lane for analysis, analyzing them, analyzing their words, analyzing their body language, trying to really find the truth within the words. And because of that, you look at this press conference and I feel like it's almost impossible to walk away from this and be like, oh yeah, it's just a calf injury. It's not just a calf injury. It's not just a calf injury at all. It's clearly a contract situation, and I think what really kind of put the cherry on top of that, well, two things. I do agree with what John had said. Two things can be true at once. He can have a calf injury, and he can also want a new contract. So yes, that is occurring. But I think where we're at this stage is, I would have to assume that Jauan should be ramping up from the calf. I recall being at 49ers training camp a couple weeks ago, and Jauan was starting to come out and starting to be a part of the rehab. Now, it wasn't intense rehab, but it was the beginning stages of that process. And typically they start that process when a player is about a week or two out from being able to practice. Now, again, every case is different, so I'm not saying it's a one case fits all situation, but I think that's where the pressure is coming from, is that we're a couple days away from officially being in week one, and the 49ers are saying to us they don't know when Jauan Jennings will be back. that to me is the indication that it's not injury related, it is contractually related. So I don't know what that means. I don't know. Again, I'm trying my best to analyze the situation and just trying to read between the lines. But I really do think that this is an indication that there are things going on that aren't just injury related. Yes, he could be injured. Yes, there could be a ramp up process, and those things can be very accurate. But obviously, from a Jauan Jennings perspective, he is in a place of using the 49ers injured wide receiver room as a place of leverage for a particular or potential contract negotiation. I think the 49ers have made it clear they're not trading Jauan. I think that is one of the things that they have reiterated Jauan when he requested his trade is we're not trading you. That's not going to happen because I think the 49ers understand they need Jauan. They need him to play, but they also it's also a double-edged sword where it's like we need you to play, but we're not willing to give you the contract that you might be requesting. So unfortunately, we're not going to honor the trade that you're asking for because we're not going to pay you, but we also need you to play on the contract that you are actually trying to get out of and get traded away from. You know what I'm saying? Like that's my read on it. My read is that they're at an impasse, and you know, trying to put myself in Jauan's shoes, he's probably looking at the state of the 49ers wide receiver room and going, you need me. Not only did I outplay the contract that I signed last year, and I'm heading into the final year of my deal, but I'm needed here. You guys need me. You need me to be a big emphasis, you know. Jacob Cowing just went to IR. Brandon Ayuk's on PUP. Demarcus Robinson suspended. Jordan Watkins, the rookie's injured with a high ankle sprain. Ricky Pearsall, you know, has been off and on injured throughout his young career. And I'm not even talking about him getting shot. I'm more just the soft tissue injuries. So I didn't come away feeling confident. I didn't come away feeling confident that it was just an injury. I didn't come away feeling confident that there isn't any contention going on. I don't know, man. I'm not loving the tone, not loving the insight that's been provided. And I understand why that there would be guarded with that information. I don't hold that against them. But again, it's when there are questions and answers aren't being provided, it is human nature for people like myself and other people who are interested in the state of this team and their success to start to wonder what is really going on, what is really happening. And I think that's why the questions were being asked. And yeah, so I can't give you a projection. Based on my read of both Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch, Jauan should be ready to go. But if he's not ready to go, it's because it's contract related. The calf is, you know, they're trying to continue to keep the calf as, I believe, a part of the main conversation. But pretty soon, they won't be able to use that to deflect what appears to be, and again, I'm not going to say definitively, but what appears to be an impasse at a negotiation. So, we'll see. We will see. I want to know what you think, though. You just heard me ramble on a lot, say a bunch of different things. You know, put the tinfoil hat on. You guys know tinfoil hat season is year round. So let me know what you think about my assessment and what's your assessment. What do you think is happening? Is this solely injury related, or was that kind of an interesting press conference? I don't know. You let me know in the comments below, and as always, make sure to like and subscribe for more updates.